Hello, hello, hello. That's right. The Viking is back. It's been a little stuttery here, but it's okay. It's all good. Welcome back to the Go Game Go channel. This is Hammer Away once again. Tonight, when Viking Stew fell for New Wave. And we're going to be talking just briefly about how crazy it was when my buddy told me yesterday, reminded me that it's the anniversary of when we lost Eddie Van Halen already 1 year ago. I'll take this off the screen here, and just it's amazing that it's been that long already. I guess now that I think about it, I was doing an open jam at the time locally, and it was there that we had pictures. They had pictures of him on a television screen, and just a rough time. You know what? I can take these off. I don't need to keep those on. But so anyway, got some plans tonight. Going to go see a friend of mine. We are vinyl fans, and I've got a little something for him tonight. I'm going to drop off couple little things actually. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. So we'll just kind of keep this brief and short. There's a couple of things again, some images I showed last night of Eddie Van Halen back in the day, just some great classics. I do love this one. Used it on the thumbnail. This is a classic here, one of the kind of a newer shot. There's an autograph shot, pretty cool. I love this one. It's just still shows just how much fun it is to perform, you know. There's a real classic right there. So yeah, Eddie Van Halen. Let's always keep him close. Always keep the music posted really closely. You know, listen to it periodically. Throw some on. Dig it. Always. I guess David Lee Roth is getting ready to retire, so we everybody's heard about that by now. It's some things. Some people are talking about his health. He's saying if he's got some shows left to do, and that possibly Alex Van Halen will play along with him on those last 5 gigs. How much or for how long, who knows? But that might be. The other thing I need to cover before I move along, last night I was showing some of the things that I picked up recently. I've got some things down here that I'll show you because I want to talk about a place that I stopped in the other day. That is really, really cool. I knew there was something else I was missing. I stopped in at a place called the Record Space. So months ago, I'd gone to a friend's place, and they had helped me put some logo work on a bag for cornhole. All right. And I did this, and I said, hey, let me buy you some dinner. We went and got some pizza while we're at the pizza place. I said, I wonder if there's any music stores around here, any record stores. She's like, I don't know. And I look to my right, and there's the Record Space right next to the pizza place. Here is Don Brazel, the owner. And he also has a label that he runs out of there as well. It's TRS is the name of the label. He's actually one of the albums I'm going to show tonight. He sold me the other day a band called the Shivers out of Chicago. And he's actually going to re-release that album on cassette. So this is the front of the store. As you walk in the door, then they built this front counter where you see Don. And so they everything else he said, though, in an article was in place pretty much. This is another shot. This is the wall across the room on the opposite wall where Don is there. And this is where they have a bunch of their remastered, brand new soundtracks. A lot of them are horror soundtracks. He's a big horror fan. In the back room, they have a lot of movies, and they have a lot of kind of Halloween and horror memorabilia back there. It's a lot of fun. Back there, they also had some laser discs. So I almost, I was looking at those, thought about picking some up, but I'd already done enough damage. So it was a really neat place. Here's the business card the record space. So check it out. If you're going through the St. Louis area, it's down on Gravois. Let me tell you a little bit more from an article that was written about it. And let me go ahead and, before I do that, let me put this picture back up of Don there. Let's see. 7 days a week. Don Brazel sits inside the business. He debuted on December 15th. This was 3 years ago. And he's been slinging vinyl out of the record space, which is at 8716 Gravois Road. So check them out online. You can get their phone number there, as well as cassettes, CDs, movies on all formats, with Betamax coming soon, as well as posters, toys, and other collectibles. They have some video games there. There's some cool comic book stuff there. I'd already purchased Stephen Piercy's book, and he has it on hardback there. Almost bought it, but again, yeah. Though he researched different neighborhoods and buildings, including a storefront that's located almost directly across the street, he wound up settling the shop into a vacated storefront rooted in a stretch of businesses that include a hair salon, a law office, a Domino's, and, because this is Gravois, a cemetery. He said, essentially, it was almost ready. We built the sales counter, but everything else was already built into place. We didn't have to do a whole lot, oddly enough. It already looked like a record store. It's a really cool place. That's enough of the article. But he's got a lot of cool punk stuff. They're really into the punk stuff there, which, if you love pinball, you need to go to, if you're here in town, not too far away, is the Silver Ballroom. A buddy of mine owns that, Steve Dockraden, and you can pop in there. It's a 2-room bar, and you walk in the front door, and that's where they have the shotgun bar going down one side, and there's a place for food in the back there. He's got another business that's in the back serving some food. Then you get to the end, high jukebox, high food place, and the jukebox, all punk. That's the way Steve always wanted it. He always wanted to own a bar where he could put punk music in the jukebox, and that was it. So oddly enough, one day I was in there, and they were playing a tune by The Angels, which an Australian band. Here they were known, when they were released here, known as CDs, because it goes along. New wave. But then, where'd I go? Hi, little butt. So anyway, you turn to left, go into the pinball machines. I loved it. One day to visit some stuff all night. I can't believe it. Got a lag going on, so we'll see what happens. Bit short. So anyway, he had the album there, and that was brilliant. I loved playing it, and he has many, many others. Aerosmith, got an Aerosmith machine there too. But then some really cool family machine, and it's just some other really cool stuff. Really enjoy playing pinball. I am a pinball guy. So anyway, those are some cool places. Record Space got some great stuff. Shall we see what I got? The reason that I was driven to do this New Wave edition tonight, and I may do more, and this is in no way, shape, or form as in depth as you can get into New Wave. Check out New Wave music if you dig it. Go off of what I got you here. I put a link out there on the comments where you can find a list of over 300 New Wave bands. That's not to say that they're not all listed there, okay? But there is some cool stuff. I'll mention a few tonight that you may want to check out. I picked this up. My buddy Jeff picked up this one recently. I knew they were both coming out, but I ordered this one. And then the other day while I was at the Record Space, I went ahead and picked up this one. The cool thing about what Don does down there, he said, was as soon as these come in, he goes ahead and puts the protective box around it, sells them like that. So you get the protective box around every Funko. I paid a little more for this one down there than I did for Satisfaction, but Satisfaction came with a big ass Kohl's sticker on it. Yay. So anyway, that's what got me thinking about all the new wave stuff, because I got to thinking about how I got into DEVO and all that stuff. The other vinyl that I got down there, I'll show you that before I move on to one other thing before we get knee deep in my experience. These are some of the things I picked up down there. Real reasonable prices down there. Picked up Barry Goodrow from Boston, his solo record down there for $6. Here's another album that I had as a album flat only, a classic album by Runner. That was really cool to pick that up. I loved that. Here's an album that's got, this is Air Race. Now they had 2 albums. This is Shaft of Light. Jason Bonham was in this band. The second record, though, that they put out many years later is, I feel a little better than, it's better than this, but it was written many years later, recorded many years later. So good. Both albums are great, but Jason Bonham was the drummer on that one. Back to the Light. There you go. Larry Graham, Graham Central Station, classic, the godfather of slapping and popping bass. He's still out there jamming. Got some messages out there when I was talking about it last night on the show. Say a couple of friends of mine have seen him not long ago. But this was wonderful. And this goes back to the Peter Lloyd episode that I did recently. He did that album cover. I had to get this. And I may have 2 copies of this now. I got to double check. But I couldn't believe it. They had it for $3.99. Nope, $6. Somebody had gotten it for $3.99. Ha! Funny. May have to pass this one on to my friend. City Boy. Book Early. Great record. It's got 5705 on it. And some other great music. This is a wonderful band. And the album is produced by Mutt Lange. So Mike Slamer was in that band. And I'll be talking about another band that he was in shortly. Now, recently you've heard me talk about Billion Dollar Babies, when Alice Cooper's band took off and he became just Alice Cooper. Alice, who was just in town too, right? They did Billion Dollar Babies right after that album had come out. Another Peter Lloyd album cover. Couldn't believe I found it there. Still just $10. It was in pretty good shape. Now, here's another album that I just had to buy this because I think I'll give it to somebody, whether I give it to my brother or my friend. It's a biker band. I don't know how many people have heard of The Gods. I found this album and I'm like, what an album cover. And look at this artwork on the back. This is great. So it just kind of reminded me of a book I was reading at the time. I think I got an Adventure as a cutout, and it's a lot of fun. It's just a straight up biker album. Look at this, Climax Blues Band. I just got into a lot of their stuff, and their albums are brilliant. If you haven't checked out a lot of Climax Blues Band, this is the album that couldn't get it right. Comes from this album, which I have to remember to put that on my set list. So yeah, those are the things I picked up along with that. And I picked up the brand new Iron Maiden CD Deluxe package. So I thought I'd better splurge a little bit on that. Haven't listened to it yet. I've been listening to it. The one thing I did say last night was I like Kevin Shirley's work. He did some great work with Dream Theater over the years, but I'm not sold on how he works with Iron Maiden. Anyway, another trip that I made yesterday was to the dollar store, and I found this Power of Grayskull, the definitive history of He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I know they have that new series out, so I'm eager to check this out. As you can see, still sealed, so haven't checked it out. The last thing I want to do, and you'll notice that I'm wearing my Wayward Sons tonight. Please get out there. There should be, or will be, a link out here. Let me get this to you. I was actually going to share this too. Let's just do it this way. The 2 albums they've had out already, you guys have heard me talk about it. We've had Toby Jepson on the show from the UK. Ghosts Have Yet to Come was the first record, and Truth Ain't What It Used to Be is their second record. And now the brand new one is called Even Up the Score. And it is, it's coming out tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that. I'm a little, I'm a little sad that I haven't been able to do as much as I wanted to. It's become a real interesting time right now. But let me put up some of these. I got some of these pictures up here, but you can see there's my Ghosts Have Yet to Come t-shirt. And I can't wait to get a new, well, this is kind of my Even Up the Score shirt right here already that they had available. And, but the new album is coming out. There's plenty of tracks out there. They've been out there for a couple of months. They've been adding on. And so be sure and get out there and check those songs out. Wayward Sons. The album is Even Up the Score. Here is the brand new album cover. There it is. It's brilliant artwork. And it's the same artist that's doing these. Toby said, I think this is the last one that they're going to be doing like this. They were just going to do a trilogy of these. So it's great that they've got the comic book edge to it again. Stuart Dilley is the illustrator. There's Toby. There's Nick Wastel. Sam Wood on guitar. Nick plays bass. And if you've heard of Chrome Molly, in fact, I almost picked up a Chrome Molly album there at the Record Space the other day. Sam Wood on guitar. These guys are all really, really cool. And Phil Martini on drums. Dave did some work with them, but he had to step away from the band for a bit. I don't know that he'll be coming back. But right, so now it's the four of them and everything. So let's take a look at this here. I'll share this. Here's some pre-order things you can do tonight. You can order these on Eyesore Merch. There's the Even Up the Score album cover. You have a pre-order of just the CD release. That's about 13 pounds. Here's a pre-order Wayward Sons Even Up the Score limited edition LP. It's red vinyl and a signed slipcase CD bundle. You can get them both together for 35 pounds. There's a green vinyl with the CD for 35 pounds. For 45 pounds, you can get the red and green vinyl and a signed print. Those are pretty cool. I love those signed prints. Then you can get the signed print, the comic book. Each one has a comic book so far that comes with it. For 36 pounds. 25 pounds, you get the print or the green vinyl. It says, let me see what this says. Even Up the Score, limited edition LP green and signed print. Yes. Then this is the one I think I'm going to get. This is the even though I'd like to get some vinyl, I'm not sure, but the price is right for me too. 28 pounds. They have the Even Up the Score signed slipcase CD. Pretty cool. With the signed print and the graphic novel. So that's what I'm going to do. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Even Up the Score. Check it out. There's a bunch of songs out there, like I said. So see what you want to do there. Now, moving along. Here we go. So this all got me thinking. DEVO, all of this. I love. Been a big fan of DEVO. I would say, it's one of those bands where I'm going to talk about somebody else who I kind of fell off the wagon for a bit because back at the time, I wasn't thrilled with freedom of choice. I'll just start there. Okay. A friend of mine got me into DEVO. My friend Bob, I've talked about him before. In fact, one of the other bands and one of the other albums I'm going to talk about, he turned me on to that too. So something, if you guys have a love of new wave, you're going to want to know about one of these albums, and you're going to want to try to find it. You can listen to it on YouTube, of course. I don't know if it's on Spotify or anything else, but you can check it out. Some of the things that I started learning when Bob played me DEVO, he played, I'm assuming he played me some Gary Newman, but Gary Newman was on Saturday Night Live. Just prior to going solo, he had Gary Newman and the Two Boy Army. So let's go through some of these things. I'm going to save this one record to the end. Other bands that I started learning about, Talking Heads was great. 77, one of my favorite records. And of course, Fear of Music. Didn't get that one right away, but another great one. Some bands that were, wow, why did I pick that out? There's other people that were like influenced by new wave, and I'll hold on to that. Some of the bands, like Sparks, this is another band that my friend turned me on to. This album, Indiscreet, especially, it's got some new wavy power pop feel to it. When I think about new wave, I think about it itself as a genre, but then also I think about its edges and the people who were on either, there was the punk side and there was the power pop side. So that was a little more melodic. What punk is? Punk's got its edge, right? Punk, you don't worry about if you can sing. You can not sing very well and do the punk thing. Let's see, I'm going to leave that for my influences. On the fringe, on the power pop side, the Knack. Great stuff. This stuff is still fantastic. The drumming by Bruce Gary is great, set against the melodic guitar riffs and even the kind of laid back ballad work that they did too. It was really amazing. Another one that I got into was the Motels. Really good stuff, especially this record. Really killer stuff on there. Some of the other songs that I really, really dig are there's Suddenly Last Summer is on here and Remember the Nights, but Little Robbers is a lot of fun, and Into the Heartland is one of my favorites. I wouldn't even mind playing that one live. This was one of my very, very big favorites, was Gary Newman. We used to go to Wisconsin, and they had put out these two at the time, and it was The Pleasure Principle here and Telecon, which were two of my favorite albums, and they'd coupled it with I Assassin on this one, and this one is Warriors. Oddly enough, at Record Space, the Record Space has Warriors on remastered vinyl down there. I just saw it right in the front. They have a bin right in the front that's all their new arrivals. So these two albums, Pleasure Principle and then Telecon, were two of my all-time favorites. I remember my brothers just didn't understand it. They didn't like the new wave stuff. They just didn't get it. But they were too busy playing REO Speedwagon, High Infidelity on my stereo, and me telling them to take it the hell off. Here's an album by, this is called Replicas by Gary Newman and the Tubeway Army. This one has, I do believe, it's always, I got to get me the reading light down here. Praying with the Aliens was on this. When he performed on Saturday Night Live, he did Cars and he did Praying with the Aliens, which was really cool. That's another band that was another influence. Another one that's a big favorite. You guys have seen me talk about these guys a lot. In fact, I just mentioned them to a new acquaintance today. British Lions, 1978. Cool, punkish kind of, that kind of an edge, power pop, British new wave kind of thing. It's really cool. The guys from Mott the Hoople. Of course, the Cars. I got a little ticked off today because as I was looking for music to use on the show on vinyl, I realized I don't know what happened to a couple of my Cars albums. So anyway, the Cars albums and something else I was going to pull out. I couldn't believe I couldn't find either. Kind of pissed me off. Here's the Angels. Okay, from Australia, Face to Face. That's the album that has Marseille. And here in the States, the album cover was a little different. Didn't have this kind of pill-shaped thing around the artwork. It actually had the painting, and this was on the back of a guy coming through a mirror. But this one had Marseille. The Angels. Here in the States, they had to be changed because of the classic female group, the Angels. They had to change it to Angel City. Look at this guy. I mean, come on. New wave, this guy right here, Joe Jackson. I'm the man and Look Sharp, which I always thought this one came second, but this one came second. They both were released in 79. And then right after that, he did 2 swing records. Amazing. But great work on those. The really cool thing about New Wave that I found was great bass work. So that was good early bass grooming for me, even though I still can't play with a pick. I'm going to leave that for that. Another band that was really cool, Horselips. Horselips was a great kind of a new wave power pop band out of Ireland. If you haven't checked them out, do it. This guy I really got into. This album is wonderful. Never had a Thomas Dolby album. My friend was giving me a bunch of CDs, and this was one of them. And I listened to it 5 times, 3 to 5 times the next day. On my way home, it just kept playing, cycling over and over. Aliens Ate My Buick. Great record if you want to check it out. Also, check out the interview where he talks about the days that he spent with Eddie Van Halen. Speaking of Eddie Van Halen, he has some great anecdotes from that. This first Cars record, great stuff. I remember shopping. I was really into new wave at the time, and heard about this stuff and bought it at the record store in Bloomington Normal. This was the other album that I don't know where my vinyl is. I had it, and I'm really torqued that I don't have it anymore. I don't know where these records went. So it doesn't make me happy. But Boomtown Rats, another great new wave band. When I'm thinking distinctly new wave, it's a lot of keyboards. You have some great keyboard stuff. Some bands that were influenced and artists that were influenced and had hits and big albums with new wave stuff. Billy Joel, Glass Houses, 1980. That had a lot of cool power pop, new wave-ish feel to it. Another band, kind of a Southern band, you've heard me talk about them before, Creed. 1978. This album is influenced by new wave, the keyboards and everything that was huge at the time. Another band that was mainly rock, especially because of their guitar player, is Gamma. And they were heavily influenced. When you get into, especially Gamma 3, you can hear a lot of that new wave influence really being used well. Another guy I've been listening to a lot. Here's another one. Robert Palmer, big influence, heavily influenced. In fact, he covered I Dream of Wires by Gary Newman. Another band that, if you really listen to it, it's really, with all the keyboards and stuff, Streets with Steve Walsh. Not only Steve Walsh, but, shall we take a look? Billy Greer on bass over here. There. And here's Mike Slamer and Steve Walsh from Kansas. But Mike Slamer, remember, City Boy. So there you go. Great record. Both of these records are very good. Crimes in Mind and their first album here, Crimes in Mind. I was dating a girl in high school. She was doing a part-time modeling job at for a radio station. She was working with a radio station at a car wash. So at the end, the gentleman at the radio station said, "I've got some records left over. Do you want to take them?" She goes, "Oh, my boyfriend will love those." Streets was one of them. I flipped out. I was like, "What is this?" And good, cool influence with some. Look at this. Weird Al. Dare to Be Stupid appears on what? Transformers soundtrack. The animated Transformers soundtrack. When interviewed, Mark Mothersbaugh, when interviewed, they said, "What do you think of Weird Al's Dare to Be Stupid?" And he goes, "Are you like," they want to know if he was put off by it. And he's like, "No." He goes, "Hell, I wish I would have written it." Another guy, Crash and Burn was the album. Pat Travers is the artist. There's a lot of really cool stuff on that and Radioactive. that has a sense. The title track, Crash and Burn, is, I mean, a lot of the synthesizer work on that plays right into a Gary Newman feel. Another band that was influenced on this single and for the stuff that was just prior to this is Styx. Caught in the Act, the song on this album that appeared, which was it's called Music Time. It's very new wave, very new wave. Let me see what else we have here. Some of the other vinyl that I pulled. Moon Martin. Speaking of Robert Palmer, Moon Martin, this is an album that is called Escape from Domination. I just got it recently on vinyl. Very happy. And it's got a song on here called Rolene. And you can really catch that Bad Case of Lovin' You, which was written by Moon Martin. And he wrote Bad Case of Lovin' You. So another great power pop. Then here's the vinyl for Horse Lips, Man Who Built America. It's such a great record. Such a great record. Now here's an album that I picked up that was a bunch of different artists called Exposed. I think they had 2 volumes of this. And it was an Epic release, Columbia and Epic. And it had a lot of bands on it that were new wave. It has, let's see, it's got Adam and the Ants early on. From Kings of the, why can't I read you what that says? I've forgotten. Kings of the Wild Frontier. And on here it has Dog Eat Dog and Killer in the Home. They were really percussive back then. It was really kind of cool. Garland Jeffries was somebody else who was out at the time. The Romantics are on here. Ian Gom is on here. Let me see. It has Sorrows is on here. It even has Judas Priest on here, but that's not new wave. Let's see if there's anybody else who's kind of new wave. Early at the time, very influenced was Loverboy. Loverboy had a bit of an influence with the keyboards that they had. Yeah, it's a couple of really cool Boomtown Rats songs on there. But Exposed, I remember getting that, and it was really exciting. Boom. There you go. Are We Not Men? This is where it all started for me. This is where new wave started for me. I'm sorry, I'm lying. And if any of you out there are thinking that it really started here or in that area, you know what? It really started when I was even younger and listening to Kraftwerk, Autobahn. That's really, for me, that's really where that new wave got started. A big hit, Autobahn. So that kind of led the way to me really digging what was happening on here. And what I really enjoyed about this when Bob played this for me was the punk edge that it had. It had that cool punk edge along with the electronica. And then it was just so different. And you think about the new wave and you think about their lyrics, and the lyrics were really cool and different too. Kind of took you in different directions. I mean, just listen to this. You know what you're going to know what the album is. Oh, I mean, I can tell you the first one, but I won't. Clock Out, Timing X, Wiggly World, Blockhead, Strange Pursuit, Swelling Itching Brain, Triumph of the Will, The Day My Baby Gave Me a Surprise, Pink Pussycat, Secret Agent Man, Smart Patrol, Mr. DNA, and Red Eye, and of course, DEVO Corporate Anthem. Duty Now for the Future. What a great album cover, too. Both those, what great album covers the first 2 albums they had. Both had that cool punk edge and just some silly stuff. Silly, horny stuff. These guys sung about sex. What do you think Whip It is? This was a lot of great new wave-ish feel on Scary Monsters, Super Creeps by David Bowie. I fell in love with Ashes to Ashes. I love that song. Up the Hill Backwards became a big favorite. Then I bought the record and Fashion became big. And the title track, Scary Monsters, Super Creeps. What a wonderful song. That's a great song. You know, speaking of October, that's a great song for for Halloween. It's a great one to play. Which I'm thinking about. Here's some more vinyl from the Cars. This was great. Shake It Up. See, I used to have that one. Panorama had one of my favorite tunes on it. This one has Give Me Some Slack. That Touch and Go is a big hit off of here too, but I loved Give Me Some Slack. That was so great. The album wasn't recorded very well. There's something about it. It's very low in its volume. Another band that really nailed into that too. This is the Chance album by Manfred Mann's Earth Band. On here they covered another Bruce Springsteen song. How odd. Called For You. You know that song. They just didn't say, hey, lick my sores. Here's an album that I brought up because of who's in the band at this time. I've said it before on the show. A lot of Yes fans were upset when this happened, but the Buggles, Video Killed the Radio Star, first song ever played on MTV, were in Yes. Trevor Horn and Jeffrey Downs, who would go on to, while Jeffrey Downs went on to Asia, Trevor Horn went on to produce 90125. I'm going to save that because I have it on CD and I have it on vinyl, but I want to save that because it's one of my favorites. Tony Carey, one amazing musician who was in Rainbow for Rainbow Rising, and he was also, if I remember right, no, he wasn't on that record. I almost said one other one, but I don't think he was on that one. So anyway, Rainbow Rising, one of my all-time favorite albums. He was on it, but then went on to do his own stuff, but then did this Planet P album. Was a pet project for him on the side. So Why Me was the big song off of here. And then here's the vinyl version. If you guys, I'd tell you, check this out. It's Sparks. Indiscreet is the name of the album. What a great cover. Here it is on the back. There's the band. It's what I would call ultimately one of the most eclectic records I own and love it all. Sometimes you get those eclectic records where they're like, it's got this, it's got that, it's got some of this, it's got some of that. And you're like, I like that, and I like that. That I'm not getting into. But there was some great humor on the record, some great satire, and a couple of cool rockers on there. It's just a lot of fun. Here, this is perfect. I'm going to show them to you this order because this is how I got into it. Back in 1979, I was in JR's Music, and I don't know if I'd heard one of the songs on the radio. I don't even know how I got to buying the record, to be honest. I just know where I got it, and it's Shoes. It's not The Shoes, it's just Shoes. And this album remains to me their best. I've got some of the other material, but this one will always remain my favorite. Present Tense is the name of the album. And it's got Tomorrow Night, Too Late, Hanging Around With You, Your Very Eyes. Let's see. Gosh, it always gets so hard to read. So anyway, but brilliant songs. I don't want to hear it. All the way down, everything. Great album. A lot of heartbreaking songs of heartbreak on this record. But Present Tense by Shoes. Really good. A couple of brothers, the Murphy brothers, and they're out of Chicago. Hoping to have them on the show sometime. So while I was down there, oddly enough, loving that record and not knowing all those years that they were from Chicago. When I was there at the record space, Don says, hey, are you into Chicago New Wave? I'm like, I mean, oddly enough, I love this. I love Shoes. So he goes, well, here, check this out. And he played me a sample, came with a bumper sticker. How about that? So the Shivers, 2 V's, the Shivers. They're redoing this. They're rebringing it out. They're going to remaster it. He had this copy, which was on Rerun Records and Bachelor Records, but Jill, let me see how to say her name. Jill Casaurus. Scott Kruger was on here, which sounds really familiar to me. Jim Iannelli, Jim Richardson, and Mike Pyle is the band. And evidently Jill is not doing well physically. So a lot of the proceeds for this are going to help everything that they're doing. And Don is actually going to be re-releasing. He's going to release this album on cassette on his label. Pretty cool, huh? So I picked that up the other day. It was a little more of a splurge, but you know, it's worth it. It's worth it. They also sell U-turn turntables down there, which you can get. The price is pretty good. It doesn't have a built-in preamp, so you have to buy the preamp. So it's $310 for the turntable. They come in different colors. They have blue, green, black, red, and maybe more. I think there's a white, which black and white, remember, they're hues, not colors. So anyway, that's a dork look at art. So anyway, another album that Bob played me that I fell in love with it. And I'm telling you, as far as what my overall exposure has been to new wave music, this is, I love my Gary Newman. I love my DEVO, but this album to me stands out. Bill Nelson is a gentleman who was in a band called Bebop Deluxe, who recorded multiple albums and a real successful double live album. And Bill went on to do this project called Red Noise. Bill Nelson's Red Noise. The album is Sound on Sound. Always wanted to have this. When I worked at the radio station in '86, they said, you can go in the back there. There's a bunch of vinyl. Anything you want, just take it. Just get it out of here. And so I found a copy of Struck Down by Y&T, which was awesome. That's up there, autographed. And this was back there. You can see it says WESN on it. So, which was not our call letters. It must have come from somewhere else. But I was so excited to find it because Bob played it for me. Then years later, I was on eBay and I found that they had the CD available. Well, at the time it was, I don't know, it was just under $20. I got to fly in here. I'm about ready to take them out. It was $20. Oh, just about $20. So I went ahead and put a bid. By the next day, it was over $120 to get the CD. So I waited, and 6 months later or 3 months later, I found it again, and I ended up getting it on eBay for $25. But the reissue here has 2 live songs at the end. It's got Stay Young and Out of Touch that are live on here. You can find it on YouTube. Check it out, though. The cover is cool. It'll remind you of Herbie Hancock's Rocket is what this reminded me of. And I just wondered if maybe the same people dealt with that. But Bill Nelson's Red Noise remains one of my all-time favorites, if not my favorite new wave record. The beauty of these is they're quick. You know, this album is probably 33 minutes long. It still doesn't crack 40 minutes, I don't think, even with the extra tracks that are on this CD. So that's what's so fun about it. The songs are great. They don't have to be epically long. And so you're in and you're out of a song. And it's catchy and quick and boom. So so I could listen to this thing back to back. I could just boop and let it play again and probably let it play again. So there's my dive into new wave. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about that. I hope you guys have some great new wave stuff you like. Be sure to check out Wayward Sons. Remember, Wayward Sons, the brand new album is Even Up the Score, and it's got this character on it. And let me put it back up again so you can see it. There it is, Even Up the Score. Remember, there's some cool bundles out there on Eyesore merch. Let me see about putting that. I meant to put that out there. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it here in the comments section. All right, so there we go. Boom. Okay, so you guys can check that out. Be sure and get out there and pre-order. They ship worldwide, so you're all set to go. And that'll do that. But thanks for joining me on the Go Game Go channel for another edition of Hammer Away. We'll be getting some interviews rolling again real soon. And otherwise, we've got some. We'll talk some. I'll have some guests in to talk music, and we can have some more panel talks. Is what I'm looking to do, and have a little fun with that. Jeff and I are going to get together soon. My buddy in Go Game Go. We're going to get together, and we're going to talk about DEVO together. We're going to talk about some of our favorites. We'll dive a little deeper into that. Like I say, this was a surface run. I realize that there's not a ton on here about all of the different new wave bands. Check out the link that I put in. That's going to give you a list of over 300, and that then will lead you to a whole bunch of others. So check all that out. I think that's it. Enjoy the rest of your evening, day, whenever you see this, and we will talk to you soon. Take it easy, and remember, whenever you walk out the door every day into your world, you're in everybody else's world. They're not in yours. So stay cool and